So your partner's just told you that you're avoidant. Now what? Or maybe you've started seeing it yourself. Perhaps you've noticed that you pull away when things get too close. Maybe you feel safer alone. Does love feel like a trap, not a home? And now you're wondering what all that means. Well, you're not broken, and you're not cold. But you might be avoidant. And if that label just hit you in the face, I want to help you to understand what it actually means, and what it doesn't mean, and how you can actually grow from it. Let's talk about the blind side. A lot of people get introduced to attachment theory the hard way, in the middle of a relationship that's already falling apart. Maybe your partner sent you a TikTok, or maybe you got hit with, "I can't do this anymore, you're just too emotionally unavailable. Look up avoidant attachment." And suddenly this word is hanging over you like a diagnosis that you didn't ask for. But here's the thing. Being told that you're avoidant can feel like an accusation. Like someone saying, you don't care. You're incapable of love. You just shut down because you're selfish. But that's not what avoidant attachment actually is. Avoidance is a strategy. One that starts in childhood. One that helped you survive environments where vulnerability wasn't safe, where emotions weren't welcome, or where being close meant being hurt. So what do you do now that you've got this label? Well, some people actually find comfort in discovering that they're avoidant. It gives language to a feeling that they've had for years. I'm not emotionally dead. I just learned to survive by staying distant. And that's powerful. Because now, instead of blaming yourself, you can learn to understand yourself. But here's the trap. If you just use the label to explain yourself and not to grow, well, you'll stay stuck. Admitting I'm avoidant can't be the full stop. It has to be the starting point. So if you're recognizing avoidance in yourself, ask, when did I learn that closeness is dangerous? Because avoidant behavior isn't random. It's protective. It usually comes from early experiences where being vulnerable wasn't safe. Or perhaps no one came when you needed them most. But you're not that kid anymore. And you get to choose differently now. So how can you heal? Avoidant attachment can make love feel like a risk. Like opening up will cost you more than it can possibly give you. So healing it takes courage. Not to run into intimacy without any boundaries, but to stay a little longer when you do want to run. To name your fear instead of hiding it behind distance. It might look like saying, I need a bit of space, but I don't want to lose you. Or, I'm feeling overwhelmed and that usually makes me shut down. Or even, this is really hard for me, but I really want to try. You see, avoidance softens when safety increases. When you're with someone who doesn't demand perfection, but meets your fear with softness. When you're with someone who doesn't demand perfection, but meets your fear with patience. And when you stop punishing yourself for having needs. Because here's the truth. Avoidant people aren't cold. They're often deeply sensitive. They just learn to bury that sensitivity so they wouldn't get hurt. But buried feelings don't die. They just isolate you. Healing is about reclaiming that part of you that does want a connection and giving it a voice. If you're avoidant, this isn't about shame. It's about permission. Permission to feel. To stay a little longer. To stop labeling yourself as incapable just because you once learned a strategy that used to protect you. You can love. You can stay, and you can heal. And I promise you, it gets easier. If you want help unpacking that, please subscribe. I talk about this every week. You're not alone.